Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos. So today I have for you an insect deck. This deck was requested or suggested by one of my friends, Rose Glave. Um, he thought it'd be cool if I try to make one. So this is what I came up with. We're using Weevil's skill Insect Uprising, which basically lets you decrease all of your opponent's monster's attack by 800. But you have to have 3 insects on the field. So the way we do that is we use worm bait, and which lets you summon 2 tokens if you're controlling an insect monster. And the cool thing about worm bait is that you can actually tribute summon the same turn you activate it, because the restriction is only for level 3 and 4 monsters. So we run 3 tributes, 2 grass chopper, which is probably the MVP of the deck, and 1 Millennium Scorpion. We can summon them either by tributing the worm baits or with Pinch Hopper's effect. And we also run Arsenal Bug, which is a 2000 beater. It's a really good card. You just need to have an insect in order for it to have the 2000 attack. And then I run 4 defensive cards in the shape of 4-star Ladybug and Cocoon of Evolution. The spells and traps are really up to you. If you want to try this deck, I run the Econ because it's probably the best spell in the game. Rising Energy for OTK potential. Insect Armor just because it's a 700 boost. And then Mirror Wall Windstorm, pretty standard. So let's go ahead and get into the replays. Alright. This first replay, we're going to be looking at it from my opponent's point of view. I went first. Can't remember which one this was. This deck did okay. I was able to. Oh, this deck was pretty interesting. I remember this, why I saved the replay. So as you can see, my opponent is playing some sort of really defensive deck, Gravity Axe, and it's also running Forest. But you'll see what his deck actually is. So he draws Wonder Balloons and does nothing, just ends turn. I tribute my Cocoon Evolution for Grass Chopper and go for the 2300 damage. And he's actually running Destiny Draw, so he gets to use his Destiny Draw, and he searches for Cat's Ear Tribe. So basically what he's trying to do is he's boosting the attack of his Cat Ears Tribe, so that my monsters can't get over it. And then he has Wonder Balloons to lower their attack even more. So I thought this was a neat deck. Unfortunately for him though, I do have a way around this, as you'll see. So I set one more card and I normal summon my Grass Chopper again so that it gains its effect. He draws, just ends turn. So I get a Arsenal Bug and I summon it and I attack. So because his Cat's Ear Tribe effect only affects my monster's original attack, I'm able to boost the attack up with Rising Energy, getting over the cat, and then attacking with Arsenal Bug to finish the duel. Yeah, so I thought that was a pretty cool deck my opponent was using. I wonder what his end game was, but as far as the control, it was pretty obvious what he was trying to do. So let's go into our next replay. This once again is going to be from my opponent's point of view, and I'm going first again. Alright, so he's running some sort of dragon deck, as you can see from the cards in his hand. I set one card and set one monster in defense mode, which is either Ladybug, Cocoon, something like that. He draws into Neo's the Magical Swordsman, summons him, and activates Banner of Courage. I have to activate Mirror Wall to save my Arsenal Bug, but I believe I go for the Worm Bait plate next. So I don't pay for Mirror Wall because I don't need to. I switch my Arsenal bug into attack mode and activate Warm Bait. Yeah. So this lets me summon 2 insect tokens, and then I tribute one of them to summon my Grass Chopper. Equip him with Insect Armor, and then I activate my Insect Uprising, lowering his Neo's attack and having enough damage for the OTK. Go. I tried double summon in this deck for a little bit, but it didn't seem too helpful. The mindset was being able to uh, fill the field up with insects right away, but I think Warmbait does that pretty easily, so I took it out. Anyway, this one we're gonna see from my point of view against a Yami Bakura. So my opponent, I believe he was using a mill deck, which ends up helping me a lot. So he's going first. I have Magic Drain, Pinch Hopper, and Grass Chopper. When you have Pinch Hopper and Grass Chopper in your hand, that's always a good way to start, because you'll be able to special summon Grass Chopper if they destroy it, and then you can normal summon it to have its effect. So I set my Magic Drain and I put Pinch Hopper in defense mode. He flips over Hio, Shadow Scout, and I draw 3, discarding my enemy controller at the end. And then he goes for Mephist. So he is able to get over my Pinch Hopper, and he discards my Insect Armor, but I get to summon my Grass Chopper from hand, so it was a fair trade, and I still have a bunch of cards in my hand thanks to his two previous effects. So I get Warmbait. I immediately activate that, summoning 2 tokens, and that lets me sacrifice one of them for my Millennium Scorpion. I activate Insect Uprising, lower his attack, and then I go for the kill with Millennium Scorpion to get its effect, and then I go for the direct attack with Grass Chopper. So although he did help me by making me draw a lot of cards, but that combo was pretty standard with this deck. I was able to pull that up a few times. He uses Tether of Defeat, trying to mill my deck, but there's not much he can do. He just summons Displayer to destroy my token. I'm gonna be able to summon my Arsenal bug, activate Insect Uprising, and look at that, 2500, 2350, and 2000, and I get to decrease his attack by 800. So this is a pretty viable beatdown Weevil deck, and I think it catches people off guard, because usually 90% of the time when you see Weevil, they're gonna be running Parasite Burn. So that was another good win for this deck. And I can't remember if I mentioned it already, but I did rank up using this deck, so it got quite a few wins and some losses as well. I think I lost maybe 3 games and won about 6. So anyway, this one's gonna be from my opponent's point of view once again, going up against Yami Yugi with Power of Dark. So he's running a pretty random deck. He's got Beast, he's got Pumpkin Princess, and Whiptail Crow. So he set the Pumpkin Princess in defense mode and just ends turn. I set 1 card face down and 1 monster in defense mode. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 cards face down. So he draws into Displayed Rider and summons Magmo in attack, which I have no idea why he did that. I was pretty surprised by that play. So anyway, he attacks my Pinch Hopper, can't get over it. So I just summon another defensive monster. And I go ahead and attack the Magmo just to get its effect out of the way. I know it's coming back, so I'm expecting some sort of tribute summon. but as you can see, my opponent doesn't have anything like that. So I'm not really sure what he was going for. Anyway, he draws into Blue Dragon Summoner, I'm sorry, and summons Whiptail Crow. I get to special summon Grass Chopper, I believe. Yeah, and this is the play I was telling you before. He has a field full of monsters, but because he killed my Pinch Hopper, I can normal summon my Grass Chopper and just attack every single one of his monsters. And the thing is, it doesn't, let's see, it does say once each. I was gonna say I don't, yeah, for some reason I thought it could attack the same monster multiple times. But for instance, if that Mugmole would have come back to the field, he would have still been able to attack it because it's like a new monster that appeared on the field. So anyway, he sets Adhesive Explosive. I go for the attack with Grass Chopper, so it's gonna get destroyed during my turn. But I'm still able to get 1800 damage in with my Arsenal Bug. And my opponent is only drawing monsters, unfortunately for him. But anyway, he draws into Black Pendant. And his Pumpkin Princess gets another counter. And he goes for the Displayer finally and goes into aggressive a little bit. But he doesn't attack. Which that allows me to, during my draw phase, flip my enemy controller, sacrifice my Grass Chopper, and take his Display Rider. So it's really important that you have your toggle on if you want to activate any effect before the standby phase. Because as you know, my monster was going to get destroyed as soon as it hit the standby phase. So that's why I had to activate enemy control before then. So anyway, by clearing his field, I'm able to attack directly and just win that game. And I believe we have one more replay against Odeon. And we're going to be seeing this from my opponent's perspective as well. Most of these replays, I don't know why they were saved from my opponent's perspective. But anyway, he's running a 30 card deck. It looks like Beast Burn because he is running Chain Reaction and he has the Nimble Musasabi. So anyway, I start by just setting a monster in defense mode and ending my turn. He sets 2 cards, one of them being Embodiment of a Poppis, and then just sets the Nimble Musasabi. So I go ahead and I Tribute Summon for Grass Chopper, and unfortunately for him, I do have the Worm Bait in hand, so I'm able to fill up my field, and he can't summon any of his Nimble Musasabis to my field. I still take the 500 damage though, and then I just end my turn. So he draws into 4-star Ladybug and goes for the Bubonic Vermin. And then he flips over Embodiment to get rid of one of my tokens. Here we go. I guess he was trying to prevent the Insect Uprising or maybe perhaps another Tribute. So I set 1 card face down and I just normal summon my Grass Chopper so I can attack both of those monsters. He does have Curse of Anubis, so I get switched to defense mode. And he draws into Magical Armed Shield, which I thought was pretty crazy. I got kind of salty when I saw that card, but it works out as you'll see. He flips Bubonic Vermin and tries to attack my token, but I go ahead and I flip the Windstorm, since I was trying to protect my Grass Chopper as well from Embodiment. So I set another card and I just go for the attack on his face up Bubonic Vermin. Then I attack the face down Bubonic Vermin. He gets to summon another one. which, like I said, it's a new monster on the field, so I'm gonna be able to attack that one as well. And I destroy it. I attack and destroy his embodiment, and then I just end my turn. So as you can see, his deck was designed to pretty much stall, but my Grass Chopper is able to clear up his field every turn. That's why I really like his effect, and you know, when you pair it with Grass Chopper, it's really easy to get on the field and activate it. So I set one more monster. He goes for the Magical Arm Shield, grabbing my token. I attack the token, but I'm still able to attack his 4-star Ladybug as well, so it didn't really help him for anything other than the 200 burn. He flips over Mirror Wall, so I can't get over 4-star Ladybug, unfortunately, by 25 freaking attack points. But my advantage is pretty big over him, unless he pays for Mirror Wall, which he doesn't, I believe. Yeah, he doesn't pay for Mirror Wall. Just summons another Nimble Musasabi and has to end turn. So I draw, I summon 4-star Ladybug and I flip my other one. So once again, keeping him from special summoning Musasabi to my field. So I clear the field with my Grass Chopper, letting my 4-star Ladybugs to do 1600 direct damage. And at this point, I mean, there's not a lot he can top deck, to be honest, and just the one card in his hand wasn't gonna help him much. So he draws into another White Rabbit, sets the Mogmole, and oh, you actually get to see what I was talking about in the other duel. I attack with Grass Chopper. The Mogmole comes back, but it's like a new monster up here on the field, so I'm able to attack it with Grass Chopper once again. And then I go for the 1600 with both of my 4-star Ladybug. And the game is pretty much over. I just need to wait for him to end his turn. He draws Security Orb, but he knows he can't stop 3 attacks, so he doesn't even bother setting it. I'm able to attack with Grass Chopper, and I did have the Rising Energy, so it was game one way or another. And that's it for the Insect Uprising deck. It's a relatively cheap deck. Most of the cards are either you get from farming or from the card trader. The ones that are not, you should be able to replace with whatever you feel like. Special thanks to Rose Glave for suggesting this deck. It was definitely a fun deck to use, and it's something I encourage everyone that watches my video. Please feel free to, you know, suggest a deck, request a deck, or request any kind of video really. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want. And until next time.